Voltabox established markets in industries like public transport, so all about lithium-ion battery systems. It's about mining, constructional and agricultural vehicles, and more also battery packs for pedelecs and e-bikes, and in addition starter batteries for cars, just for cars. We are preparing ourselves to step into markets for stationary battery systems and also, and this will be a huge project for the next months, to retrofit or to convert diesel buses against electrical drivetrains. First of all, this challenge is solved. So yes, we were faced with a kind of an interruption. We got cells 2 to 3 months later as planned. And so we had to cope with this situation by means of a shutdown of our production to come down from a 3-shift to a 1-shift production and an end. So a delay in our manufacturing processes. We now have 3 new cell suppliers in addition. So we did all this qualification work. We have started already new projects under use of cells of the new suppliers to get or to be more independent, not so dependent of such things we were faced from August and September on. And with this new alternative cell suppliers, I think it's a good perspective for the futures. We started this year with projects as planned for the trolley bus industry and the mining industry in the United States. And we began to step into sales of intralogistic batteries. We failed a little bit. So to step into this new market with forklift batteries went slower as expected, to be honest. Though we were glad getting a new order for a kind of backup battery systems for telecommunications mid of this year. And out of a sudden, so this was nearly the same amount of potential revenues we planned originally for intralogistics. So word was good at those days. But out of a sudden, mid of August, we got an information from this telecommunication customer. He asked us for slight changes of the battery design. And this meant for us to step back into an R&D loop. The result was a postponement from about 4 months. So we will do this revenues, but from January next year on, means minus 20 million for Voltabox for this fiscal year 2019. So this was what happened in the United States. So because we have measures implemented since mid of this year, we will have a much better picture in 2020. So we plan a range of revenues from about 85 to 100 million. We will come back in terms of EBIT in a profitable level from 5 to 7%, EBITDA from around 15% next year. So in the last quarter of this year, we already returned back in a slightly positive level. In addition, we implemented measures in the range of 30% cost reduction compared to mid of this year. We focused to adjust personal cost, to be honest. From this we will benefit from January on in the next year. And also we call it refocused our projects in R&D. We clustered it, so we now have a good new basis to step into the next year 2020 with, let's say, good and positive results for us all. Yes, we will. And first of all, we achieved significant improvements in cash flow already. As I explained already, we will return back into positive in this second half year. Triathlon is strictly repaying receivables. As part of a new plan, I was able to negotiate and to agree with our biggest customer in early July this year. So this is nearly perfect now. We will come down from 45 million receivables from last year, same moment, to less than 8 or 7 million this is huge. Inventories built up even further a little bit, and this because we have 3 new projects really in the beginning of next year, so we had to order and had to pay battery cells because this will be needed in the production, which is starting right now for the new projects for the early 2020. And yes, we will have a positive free cash flow in 2020 in a single digit of a million euros in next year. We sharpened Voltabox profile. We are now purely focused on, call it, attractive markets with a good chance to realize reasonable margins. Our plan is to grow sustainably. This is important. We have now a broader customer base established, so more customers like before, and not so big dependencies, because one customer is slightly too big compared to others. And I think it's a much more than ever the fact that Voltabox with our lithium batteries is a kind of a part of this global transformation we are in right now. Think on all this economic and social debates for CO2 reduction and. So Voltabox has the technology to make this happen, and it has a reason. Perhaps you remember that Professor Dr. Goodenough was honored by the Nobel Committee some weeks before for his developments he did in the early 90s. He invented the lithium-ion battery technology. 30 years later now, he was honored from the committee. And this all has a reason, because now it's the right time to make this public, to get this in all of our minds. So the final sentence from me, because I think it's right and correct, Voltabox has more right as ever to exist.